Hello, and welcome to Beyond Books, where we talk about books from Book of the Month Club and beyond. I'm your host. I'm Renee. Today's Tag Tuesday. Let's get started with the Girl Scout Cookie Tag. So, this tag was created by Melinda at A Web of Stories, and I'll put a link to her channel below. I was tagged by Pat at Book Chat with Pat. So, here are the prompts. Number one is Trefoils, a classic novel that you love. So, the trefoils are those shortbread cookies, and they're shaped like the Girl Scout pin, the Girl Scout symbol. Definitely a classic for sure. Those have been around, I think, for a really, really long time. And the trefoil has three kind of like leaves, foliage, trefoil. Has three leaves, and that stands for the three parts of the Girl Scout promise. On my honor, I will try to do my duty to God and my country, to help other people at all times, and to obey the Girl Scout laws. So, I remember that all the way from Girl Scouts. And I chose for my classic the Of Mice and Men, which I just finished reading for the third time the other day, actually. This is John Steinbeck, of course, and this is him looking all cool and stuff with a cigarette. Who holds a cigarette like that anymore? But anyway, this was written in 1937. Steinbeck writes kind of like Depression era type things. His writing to me is just so word sparingly detailed. He doesn't use a lot of words, but somehow the feeling and the place is just conveyed to you so well that you can feel it too. It's like the way that he observes people or something, like some little gesture, and you kind of get the idea of how that person might be feeling in the situation that they're in. So I think that he's a classic, and yeah, I've read that at least 3 times. Might have been more. So anyway, number 2 is Lemon Ups, a book you find inspiring. I wasn't too familiar with the Lemon Ups, so I had to look those up to see what they were. They're the sandwich cookie with lemon cream in the middle. Now that I know. Sound pretty good to me. So anyway, for me, an inspiring book is any book that is about nursing. I happen to have this one handy, so I just grabbed it off the shelf. I just finished this one in March, I think. And yeah, this is about a nurse that serves in Vietnam. And I really like books from the Vietnam era in general, but definitely when they're nursing books, I find them among the most inspiring. But really, any stories about nursing, I usually like. Now, that doesn't mean that all nurses are inspiring or good or perfect or anything like that. They're not. But it does mean that when a nurse is doing his or her best, people are being cared for. And so you can't beat that. You can have all the fancy surgeries, you can have all the technology in healthcare that you can handle. But the people who know how to do, I think in particular, the aftercare, and teach you what's going to happen beyond that care and teach your caregivers to help you with that care. I mean, that's golden right there. So yeah, I find that very inspiring. So s'mores are a comforting book. And s'mores are of course, graham cracker sandwich with chocolate and marshmallow in the middle. And let's see. What am I going to put for that? Oh, I've talked about on previous occasions about the Tao Te Ching book and the Psalms of the Bible, as being somewhere I would go for some comfort. Um, but I'm going to say really that all books and just the act of reading itself is for me very comforting. Who can beat a blanket and a book? It's just the best. So, number 4, Adventurfuls, an adventurous book. Well, I had to look up and see what Adventurfuls were. Never heard of them. I don't know if that's something, or I don't know. Are they new? I don't know. But anyway, it said that they were indulgent brownie inspired cookies topped with caramel flavored cream and a hint of sea salt. So now that I know, I'm all about the adventure. So I'm going to talk about an author that I haven't talked about before on any previous occasion, and it's someone that I really like a lot. I've read quite a number of his books, and that's Bill Bryson. A lot of his books are about his travels in different countries, different places. He's very funny. He's very intelligent. He's very informative. His writing is witty, and I just find it hilarious. Two of his books in particular come to mind because they are adventure stories. One is A Walk in the Woods, which is about him walking on the Appalachian Trail with a friend of his that he talks into coming along. And, the two of them are already in their advanced years and they're out of shape. So it makes for, just a funny story. A movie was made from that story. And then another one that maybe you're not aware of, it's just, probably not quite as popular, is one of his books where he walks across Australia, and it is called In a Sunburned Country. Again, both are hilarious. So not only adventurous, but just laugh out loud funny. They're good. So number 5 is Samoas, a book that blends 2 or more genres. So the Samoas, well, I know about the Samoas. I know about those. Those are the shortbread cookie with caramel, coconut, and chocolate on them. And you either love them or you hate them, because some people don't like coconut. So can't help you. I think they're great. I like books that I think in this genre, this particular genre, are always good and usually interesting to me. And that's those that would combine science and technology with another genre, such as history or a memoir. I guess, a spoonful of one genre helps the medicine part go down. I don't know. just thought I'd throw that in. But one that comes to mind for me, or two that I have on my shelf, I'm sorry, is one is called Uncle Tungsten, Memories of a Chemical Boyhood. And this is by Oliver Sacks, who apparently, worked in the field with photography and the use of tungsten in all its forms. I don't know much about tungsten, but I don't know. I just thought that this sounded like an interesting book. I think I dug it out of the free library one day. It's in pretty good shape. It will end up back in the free library when I'm done with it, but it does look interesting. I also read one called The Disappearing Spoon. I actually listened to that one on audio. The Disappearing Spoon and Other Tales of Madness, Love, and the History of the World Through the Eyes of the Periodic Table of the Elements. So that's a mouthful, but that was just a very good book about chemistry interwoven with some history, some biographies of some famous chemists, things like that. I also have this. I just got not too long ago, The Emperor of Maladies. That's the biography of cancer, which, that's interesting to me because it's the history of cancer. I mean, they haven't really been able to treat it, certainly not as well as they can now for that long of a period of time. So, yeah, you learn something and in an interesting way. So I would say when science is combined with something like that, that's enjoyable to me. Do-si-dos. Either a book you love that everyone seems to hate, or a book you hate that everyone seems to love. So do-si-dos, of course, are the delightful peanut butter sandwich cookie, somewhat like a Nutter Butter cookie. And they used to be called gauchos. Back in the day when I sold them, they were called gauchos, and they were 35 cents, but not now. So let's see. For that, I'm going to say a book that I reviewed recently and just read this past February, Let Us Descend by Jesmyn Ward. I thought was a very good book. I read it as part of my group of 6 for the octafinals for the BookTube prize. And it definitely was one of the 3 that I chose to move on. In fact, it was my number 1 pick. I really didn't think that any book from that batch was any better than that one. That was my favorite one, and I'm going to stick to it. But I was a little surprised when that did not move on. And, there is quite a bit of criticism about that book on Goodreads. And I have to agree with some of it. It's not, I mean, I'm not saying somebody was criticizing something that I thought was fabulous or whatever, but it was, I thought there were some places where when she's speaking with the spirits, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's in my review. I can link it, down below. But she speaks with spirits. It's a slave girl. She speaks with, spirits from the past that were her ancestors, and she speaks with spirits that help her with nature kinds of things and to know things and perceive things. It's really an interesting concept. I think there were some places where that writing could have been kind of tightened up a little bit, and where you kind of wondered what the point was that she was sort of getting to. So I would have to agree with some of that, but that there were other books that were that much better than that it didn't end up moving on. That part was a surprise to me. So I'll say that one for now. Number 7 is Thin Mints, one of your favorite all-time books. Okay, so we all know what Thin Mints are. I think they're like the favorite Girl Scout cookie, and I like to keep mine in the freezer and eat them from the freezer. Delicious that way. And they'll last a lot longer too. So for that, I'm going to say The Wizard of Oz. The whole group of stories is just incredibly inventive. Of course, we all know the story. The girl from Kansas, gets dropped into this fantasy land where, there's just a whole group of really fascinating and interesting characters. I love the books. I love the movie. I love the music. I love the characters. I have this special copy that I still need to complete. I do diamond art also in addition to reading. And this book is one that you decorate with your little diamonds, which they aren't really diamonds. even needed to tell you that, right? They are little, I don't know if you can see them. They're little beads, you know, they're faceted. And you stick them. The surface is sticky. When you take off all of this cellophane, the surface will be sticky where you need to put your little colors. And you pick them up with a little special pen that has wax in it and sticks to it. And you stick them down on your book. So when I complete this, I'll show it to you. It'll be pretty, I'm sure. It's got Emerald City on there. So that is that. And that is the end of the prompts, except for one, which is Tagalongs, where you tag some fellow booktubers. So Tagalongs are the peanut butter patty cookies. They've got chocolate on the outside. And so now listen. I'm only going to say this once. This is an open invitation, okay? But I want you to participate. I don't leave it open because I don't want to hear from you. I leave it open so that I can hear from you, okay? If you like the tag, and really, it's an easy one, and you get to talk about cookies, then please do it. A Girl Scout is a friend to all and a sister to every other Girl Scout. That's one of the laws, and that means that we support each other. And I think that the BookTube community, we all support each other as well. So we can do that better if we know you a little bit better. So don't be afraid to do the tags. That's how I got started with tags, is I just picked a couple of easy ones, you know, 1 week here, a couple weeks later I did another one. And I just started doing them. And now people tag me fairly regularly so that I can do the tags. I think I started with the newbie one, which a lot of people do that one. And then later I did the ringing in the new year tag, because that was when, you know, the new year changed. But at first I probably picked, you know, 2 or 3 on my own before people started tagging me. So yeah, you just got to pick one that you think you would enjoy doing and just get to work. So, okay, now, good nutrition. Okay, what do we have if we know we're going to have cookies later? A salad, right? So that's not the day to eat cheeseburgers. So I'm going to show you now my recent lettuce harvest, right now. Before I cut my lettuce, I wanted to show it to you because it's really pretty amazing. That is some nice looking lettuce. You can see the nice red leaves on that one. It's really beautiful. This is just 2 pods. But what happened was, it looks like over here, 2 plants sprouted out of the same pod, which usually with that, it's really best to cut one of them and take it out. 2 really cannot grow in one pod successfully, so you got to make a decision and you got to take one out. But by the time I realized that, this was already kind of growing like this, so it is what it is at this point, and we'll just deal with it as best we can. But this separate head right here of the red is really one of the best I've seen. I think it's been growing for about a month, maybe a little more right now. Then I also have in this arrow garden 2 more lettuces. These have grown in very nicely. I'll probably take some from this plant today. And this one kind of lagging behind just a little bit, but that's okay. It'll catch up and it'll be fine. So that is the start of a salad for today. Yummy, yummy. So here's the bowl of lettuce after cutting everything. Pretty nice. I'm very pleased with this harvest of lettuce. It's just nice looking. The leaves seem a little bit thicker than they sometimes are from an arrow garden, and yeah, they're going to be tasty. They're going to be good. I'll show you what the plants look like now. Sorry to make you dizzy. So here's the one. Still got quite a bit, really. But I don't want to take any more because this is the first harvest from it. And you definitely don't want to do any more than 1/3 of any one plant. And where I have the two that are growing together, you know, I don't think those are going to get that large anyway. So I'll leave it where it is. I certainly have enough lettuce right now. And this is the other one. Really, I left quite a bit still on that, but yeah, that's actually very, very good looking as well. So very pleased with this. Thanks for watching.